Hey Ash, how you doing?
Very well, Greg. Very well. How are you?
Wonderful, wonderful. Looking forward to this spooky season, sort of the end of spooky season, kind of, as we hit
Yes.
towards the end of October, with Halloween around the corner.
Yep.
And this Saturday, the
25th.
25th, yes it
Yeah.
is, um, is my haunted hotel Halloween
Halloween
party.
party.
Are you going?
I'm there. I'm there. You?
I'm there as well. I'm there as
Awesome.
well. I've got my I've got my outfit. Have
Same.
you?
I got mine. Mine's well,
The reason
not
for the
quite
little the
even a
reason for
Halloween
the
party.
reason for the little chuckle will become clear if you see the photos on Saturday. We'll say no more than that, I think.
Yes, we'll have to put them up on socials, I guess.
I think so.
Afterwards.
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 Yeah, afterwards, definitely. Definitely. So tonight's episode, we're going to do part one of a two-part Halloween sort of extravaganza in between
Yes.
episodes of The Unconventional Ufologist and anything else that comes along that we put up. But this is going to be part one of our Halloween. This is real life listeners' stories um, that we've received and found that are dark, creepy, and fit the mood. So, should we go straight in?
Yeah. Go for it.
Shall I go first?
Yeah. Go on.
So, a lot of these are anonymous for obvious reasons when you start listening to them. So, story one for me, and I'll read it as though it's been written or as it's been written in the first person. So, I moved around a lot as a kid. We were the kind of family that would have boxes that would always go unopened and undisturbed between moves. My dad was a good guy but had an issue with authority, so he usually had issues keeping a stable job for more than a year or so. When the lease was up, we'd move closer to his new job. Anyways, during one of these moves, my dad found a steal next to his job. It was an old two-bed, one-bath house with a detached garage. I want to say it was around £300 a month for rent. It was 2003, and apparently it was in a rough part of town. The landlord told us, I won't go into specifics, but I am required to tell you that someone had passed away in the house within the last 5 years. My dad saw a great deal and shrugged it off. We moved in soon after, and the things started very quickly. There were noises in the house all the time. It was like we had other people living there. It would generally be noises that you would expect when other people were around. Things like drawers opening and closing, doors swinging round on their own, water turning on in the bathroom and then back off. Nothing malicious was happening, so we just lived with it. Another weird quirk about the house was that the front door had a keyhole on both sides, so you could not leave the locked house unless you had the keys. You could probably guess where this is going, but not a week or so after we moved in, we lost the keys. Boxes still littered the house, and we were still unpacking hell. So my dad, obviously stressed from the whole situation, started getting loud about the keys. He accused me of stealing them. He was cursing and being a general pain. Then out of nowhere, we hear the keys hit the floor in the living room, right next to the couch, which was right on the floor. He picks them up, tries to rationalise what's just happened, says fuck it, and leaves the house to work. Over the next few months, the stupid keys are the centre of activity. My dad would put them in a glass bowl on top of the outtube TV every day after work, and somehow they would be moved by the morning. My favourite spot by far was when we found them in a sealed box of pots and pans that we needed to unpack. Had those little handle holes on the side of the box, and it's like someone just shoved them into the hole out of spite. We all got a good laugh out of that one. Right now, you're probably like, okay, what's spine chilling about some noises and some keys moving around? Well, here you go. The worst thing that happened fairly frequently was the stomping. Most nights around 2 to 3 a.m., there would be heavy footsteps pacing in the hallway outside of our bedrooms. I confirmed with my dad when I was older that yes, it kind of freaked him out too. We had been living in the place for about 8 months at this point, and I was probably around 8 years old. I heard the stomping one night and just couldn't take it. I screamed out to the hallway, stop stomping around, I need to sleep, god damn it. 15 seconds of silence was abruptly interrupted by what sounded like a bull running full speed to my room. Then my door had three very aggressive slamming knocks on, one after the other. It was so loud that my dad woke up and come to check on me. My stomach started to churn, and I suddenly felt like I had to use a toilet. I was frozen in bed when I heard my dad call out to me, "Are you okay, buddy?" from his bedroom. I mustered up the courage to head out into the hallway. As I got up, I could tell something wasn't right. I was shaking like a leaf and my bowels were trying to evaluate while I was walking. I ran as fast as I could to the toilet, but it did not help. There was a trail from about halfway between the bedroom and the toilet, and my poor dad, worried about the safety, followed me into the bathroom to figure out what the hell just happened. I explained everything, crying on the toilet, making a mess of myself and the house. I was embarrassed and terrified. After this, my dad told me, "If you ever feel uncomfortable, you can come sleep in my room. Nothing can bug you when I'm around." The final straw came a week later. My dad had been dating a girl for over a year, and she'd been staying with us more and more. One of the nights she stayed over, they had a really minor fight right before bed. I think it was about cleaning and chores. Anyway, they both went to bed grumpy about it. Right around the magic 2 to 3 a.m. mark, his girlfriend got yanked out of bed by one of her ankles and got dragged out of the bedroom and down the hallway. By her account, she woke up after she was on the floor and felt like someone was pulling on her leg, and it took her a while to realise exactly what was happening. She shrieked, and whatever it was let her go. She ran back to the bedroom and turned the lights on and explained the whole thing to my dad. He sent me off to my aunt's house and stayed in the house alone for a few months while looking for another place to go. He figured it would be safer without me there. During the packing and moving out of the house, my dad had some friends swing by to keep him company. Almost everyone who came by to help mentioned they saw a small white dog walking around right when they entered the house. Yeah, that place was haunted as fuck. I still think about it from time to time and wonder if the people who live there now deal with the same stuff, or if it's all calmed down. Bit of a weird one.
Madhouse, madhouse. So my first one, I actually saw someone read it and I thought it was quite different to usual stuff, like usual hauntings and things like that. And so thought I'll include this one from Reddit user Spiffy Fishies. So this is quite recent, posted only quite recently on Reddit. And I thought just the whole thing around is a little unusual. Like it's not, like I say, not the usual type of story you hear. So I thought it was quite cool to talk about. So the user Spiffy Fishies and her boyfriend were asleep in a small camper van parked in the driveway of their home, which they share with the dad and his close friend. The camper had recently been cleaned and all the clothes were kept in a separate room of ours inside the house, not in the camper. So boyfriend and this lady put on the jackets and laid up to head out since it's cold, and the boyfriend's wearing a yellow shirt with a black button-up over top when they went to bed. After spending some downtime watching the show, they cuddled and she took his black button top off, leaving him in just a yellow shirt. Without going into too much detail, he later took his shirt off and tossed it to the floor by the side of the bed, by the bedside table. 45 to 60 minutes later, they needed to head inside to the house for the bathroom, and the boyfriend looked high and low, but all around the camper van, could not find his yellow shirt anywhere. Shaking out the blankets, checking on the pillows, in the cabinets, on the shelves, it was nowhere to be found. So he began looking in the area again where he threw the shirt initially by the bedside table, and they both watched as he picked up a shirt, and it was grey. This was a shirt he'd been wearing earlier in the day, but he changed into the yellow shirt hours before and left the grey one in the room in the house where the clothes were, not in the camper van. So they're both flabbergasted, so they both vividly remember him wearing the yellow shirt when heading into the camper van. She saw him in his yellow shirt right next to him as they're watching the show, and thinking that surely the yellow shirt must have gotten stuck somewhere in the camper, they headed inside to use the toilet and search for the goddamn shirt. Boyfriend opened the door to the room where all the clothes are in and called her over. The yellow shirt had been wearing just an hour before in the camper van was sitting in the exact place where he had left his grey shirt earlier in the day. The two shirts seemed to have impossibly switched places, and they're both 100% sure that he wore the yellow shirt to bed. So what a weird, like, it's not something you usually hear. It's like clothes of swaps. He wore a grey shirt early in the day. And when they were sort of coming back, the clothes were kept inside the house. So he went to the house, got changed, wore the yellow shirt and his black overtop. Back to the camper van, got undressed and in bed. And then the yellow shirt nowhere to be found, and the grey shirt's now in the camper van.
How
Got
weird.
back inside, and the yellow shirt's inside the house.
That's odd.
Very, very odd with the clothes swapping places. But they're both 100% adamant that he was wearing the yellow shirt when they went to bed.
That's odd. That's odd. That isn't something we normally cover. Swap clothes.
It's weird. I think we talk about things like disappearing and reporting and stuff, and
Yeah.
I guess it's similar to that, where if they have to both disappeared and reported in the separate rooms. Yeah, it doesn't mention whether they've been drinking or anything, but I'm pretty sure it's just weird they're both looking for that shirt, so they both knew he was wearing the yellow shirt, not the grey one.
Yeah. How odd. And that's the kind of thing that you'd sort of be looking at each other sort of perplexed more than anything to begin with, I suppose. And you're just like, well, how did that happen?
Like things like that happen where you think, oh, sure, I was wearing that, whatever, but you just kind of think, oh, I must have been wearing this one. You just kind of move on with your life. Whereas then this person's, it's like messed with their head so much that they literally post on the internet to try and get answers, because they asked at the bottom of the post, I searched the internet for an explanation, I found nothing. How could these two objects have switched exact places without being seen or touched, so this happened to anybody else? So for them to actually think it's actually happened to them.
Yeah. And then you could probably get, you could sort of, if they were similar colours or two dark colours, but grey and yellows, quite a contrast, isn't it? How weird.
So, I mean, that could happen more often than we think, but we just put it onto a boat. I must have been wearing this top, I must have been wearing these socks. There's a few times I thought, like, I'm sure I had blues. But you just think I mustn't have done because I've got red ones on. Like, I'm sure I got blue ones on this morning, but now the red. Like,
maybe you did.
Maybe they did change. The clothes changed places while I was at work or something.
How mad. Right. So this one comes from New York. So I used to intern in a recording studio in New York City years ago, where it was technically open 24/7, meaning there was always someone there, whether clients were in or not. Anyway, it was part of an upper floor of a building, and due to the amount of expensive equipment inside, you could not access that floor by elevator without someone letting you up. The button for that floor was locked, so you couldn't press it from the inside of the elevator. There was a camera at the front entrance downstairs, another at the elevator entrance, and one inside the elevator, all of which could be viewed from the front desk of the studio, so when people arrived you'd buzz them in. Wait until you saw them enter the elevator, and then you would have to push a button for the studio floor to bring the elevator up. Almost sounds like a drug den, but there we go. Well, anyway, one of the nights I was working as an overnight shift, and it was just me and another dude doing cleaning, maintenance, etc. When we hear the elevator start running around 3:30 in the morning. The whole building is all offices, so really there's nobody in the building past 5 to 6 p.m. besides us. So we thought it was a bit strange. The other guy looks at the cameras and there's nothing at all, no one in the elevator either. So although it's weird, we just figured that someone must still be in the building and called it from a different floor. It made sense until all of a sudden we see it stop at our floor and we hear the door ding. We're both in the lobby about 15 feet away from the elevator, and we give each other the hardest what the fuck stare. I can't explain how much I didn't want those doors to open. We stare like a deer in headlights, completely motionless at the doors as they open. No one is there, no one pushed the button, nothing. We both keep staring, completely still and silent, and it becomes really fucking creepy as time goes on and the doors don't shut. as if something is standing in the doorway blocking the sensor. The doors usually close after 5 seconds or so, but we stared at it for a good 20 to 30 seconds before they closed and the elevator returned back to the lobby. We stared for a bit longer before simultaneously looking at each other and saying, "What the fuck, dude?" The next day we asked a couple of other guys about it, and one of the guys said the same thing happened to him in the middle of the night when he was by himself. He said he almost shit himself. Maybe there's a logical explanation for it, elevator malfunction, etc. But it was really damn freaky since the place was generally kind of creepy and at night, and there had been some other weird things. I think that's the freakiest bit, that you know that nobody from outside the lift can press a button, or even in the lift can press a button for that floor. It has to be called from a different floor.
That is creepy. That's like, yeah, like this, the doors is open and no one's there. That's quite high on the creepy WTF.
And it's almost like it's staring you out, where the doors don't shut after a few seconds, they literally stay open, almost sort of saying, "I'm going to frighten you for as long as I can.
I'm here, like
I'm here, I'm watching you. You can't see me, but I'm here, and I'm not closing the door until I want to go down."
That's like, it's kind of similar to like if I was looking at my door shut, if the door just open now, and just like I'm like staring into the void of like nothing there. It's like, what the hell? Like,
Well, what happens if that time when the door was rattling on the bathroom at yours,
yes,
and imagine you opened, or the door opened itself and there's just nothing there, like literally opened itself and nothing there.
that'd have been horrible. I think if it hadn't had the bolt across, it probably would have done, because it
What?
was.
Would you have moved out, or would you have stayed there? Because that'd be quite freaky. 'Cause that was early on, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was probably in the first few months of living there. So 4 years ago. I'd probably stayed. I mean, don't really have much other options. I mean, even just the way the door rattled, that yeah, someone trying to get in the door. Like, there's no other way about it. But it's not happened since. That's the weirdest thing. Like, if it's something like floorboards or something, we'd hear it, or it happened more than once in the past 4.5 years. Like because the bathroom door's always shut. I would make sure all the doors are shut because the house gets so cold, so we keep all the doors shut to keep warmth in.
Yeah.
And so if it was just like, say, someone upstairs walking that somehow made the ceiling shake the door, or some random, what people would say is trying to explain it, surely we would have heard it at least. Even if not in the bathroom, still, because it rattled in proper, trying to get in the door. Like, surely we'd have heard it again if it was another explanation for it than someone trying to get in the bathroom while I was sat in there.
Yeah. That's
Yeah, I think if the bolt wasn't on, because even though I was alone in the house, I always lock the bathroom door. Always have done. I'm on my own. But yeah, I think the door would have opened, and that would have been creepy, because it shuts properly. It properly shuts across, like it clicks in, like when they shut the door, like the mechanism goes into the door frame, like you hear it proper clicks, you know it's shut. Then I lock it as well. So if it just would not open on its own. So yeah, elevator, creepy. It's like I say, it's like you know there's someone stood there, but you can't see it. But you can't see them. It's that's mad. That's
awful.
mad.
And imagine if there was two of them there, but imagine if it was just you alone there. I'd be like, it'd be awful. Yeah, absolutely awful.
Definitely. So next one. This is a story. Not a story, but an encounter. Be told by someone that I know. So they're male. So maybe cut this bit out. I fucked up the start of this one. It's about 30 minutes in, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or 31 because it says 9 minutes left.
Yeah, 31 minutes in. Yeah.
So this is again another lady with a boyfriend, and they are sleeping at her parents' place one night. And for context, she already thought maybe something would happen because she believes that the house is haunted. 100% sure the house is haunted due to previous experiences that have happened there, to the point where she had to leave multiple lights on just to go to sleep, just to feel safe. She always has to have the light on when she's staying there. In addition, the boyfriend is a sleep talker and moves around a lot, which is an important part of the story when we get to it. So, this night, the boyfriend requested pitch black darkness so he could sleep easier, which obviously scared the lady, to put it lightly. So when they lay down, the fan was on and it was pitch black in the room. The boyfriend fell asleep almost immediately, but it took her a couple of hours to try to get to sleep. Over those hours, she was listening for anything that she might hear. There's a lot of stuff going on in the room whilst it's being redesigned, and so she may be expecting something to make a sound while the fan was on, just like stuff being rattled or moved around, like you hear when the fan's on, stuff being blown. But it was silent and she fell asleep. Until around 3 a.m. when she woke up to the sound of scratching. It was subtle and it didn't have any pattern to it. Like it would scratch a couple of times, go still, then scratch some more, except stronger. It almost sounded like a knife against wood. The more she listened, the more it felt like the bed was vibrating in time with the sound. Then she heard it. Or them. 2 different voices whispering to each other. They were low, raspy, but childlike, so it wasn't his boyfriend. She looked and she knew the sound wasn't coming from the boyfriend's mouth. He wasn't sleep talking. She then heard the dialogue, so you could hear what they were saying. It's not sharp enough, it's too dull. Try again. She then hears scratching sounds again. It's not working. Try it on him, she heard the voice say. Right after that, the boyfriend bolted upright and rubbed his leg, saying, sleepily, he's got a bad cramp and it really hurts. She'd never seen him move so quickly or so erratically before. He rubbed his leg, and when she asked if he was okay, he stopped immediately and stared at the foot of the bed with wide eyes. The scratching was gone, and so were the voices. He just stared for a couple of seconds and then lay back down, immediately snoring again. After that, it was completely silent, and she never got back to sleep at all. But the voices and the scratching never came back. In the morning, she asked him if he remembered getting the cramp and asked what he was staring at. He said he didn't know what she was talking about and doesn't remember any of the things that she mentioned. She told him about the voices. He didn't like it, but said he truly doesn't remember anything that happened. So now she's even more scared to stay at her parents' house.
I mean, when it starts saying, well, any weird voices like that, but when it starts saying it's not sharp enough, or try it on him.
Try it on him. Like, what the hell?
Wow. I mean, I probably don't think I'd ever sleep again.
Especially not in that bed.
Not in that bed. I've seen Nightmare on Elm Street. That's kind of stuff that make you never want to sleep. So if I could hear whispers like that, whoa.
You know, it made me think of The Borrowers. Like, have you read or watched The Borrowers?
No. Is that those little people?
Yeah.
No,
so it's like, it's like little people that live like in the walls of your house and stuff, and like when things go missing, it's them like taking things, and oh, I've lost another pen or thing. It's them that they'll come and take things that they need. That's what it reminded me of, was like The Borrowers, like these little people, and they're obviously trying something on, trying sharp whatever they were doing. They need something sharper, and they're trying it on him for some reason.
That's bad.
Obviously must be in the bed or something if he felt it on his leg, or at the foot of the bed at most, at least. So yeah, another not quite normal story that we hear, but unusual as well.
I mean, that's the kind of stuff that induces nightmares. I'm not gonna lie, that's the kind of thing that, yeah. So this next one for me is one that took place in July 2023, so quite recent. I think sometimes you think about paranormal experiences, and I know you said yours was a recent one as well, but sometimes you think paranormal story or experience tends to be from when people are old or
Mm.
from a long time ago. But so it's
Yeah.
quite weird when it happens sort of recent. So this one said, I'm honestly posting because I can't figure out what happened and it's been eating at me. This took place in July 2023 in upstate New York. A couple I know, friends of my mum's, asked me to house sit for them while they were on vacation. It was one of those older homes that feels like it has way more square footage than it should. Creaky stairs, long narrow hallways, and way too many doors that lead to tiny closets. I was 25 at the time and figured a week of peace and quiet would be great. For the first few days, everything was normal. I fed their cats, watered their plants, went to work during the day and just watched Netflix and YouTube at night. On the fourth night, I was up late on the laptop in the living room when I heard what I swear sounded like footsteps upstairs. The house isn't huge, so I thought maybe one of the cats got trapped in a room. When I went up, both cats were asleep in the master bedroom. I figured it was just the house settling, but the sound wasn't random creaks. It was like a person walking slowly across the hallway. The next night I woke up at around 3:30 a.m. Doesn't everybody in a horror story? I want to say, because I heard something slide across the floor above me. It was like a chair being dragged. I texted the homeowners asking if there was anyone with a key or maybe a neighbour checking in. They said no, just you. That part really messed me up. And it happened the night before they came home. I was in bed scrolling on my phone and I hear whispering, like actual whispering. At first I thought it was the TV downstairs. I leave it on low sometimes, but it was coming from the hallway. Two distinct voices, one male, one female, but super soft, like they were trying not to wake me up. I grabbed my phone flashlight, opened the door, and the second I did, it stopped. Dead silence. I checked every room upstairs and found nothing. No open windows, no sign of anyone breaking in. Here's where it gets really weird. So we just took a quick break because I'm a key holder at my work, because I'm one of the closest, and the alarm I saw it tripped on like an app thing, so I knew what was coming because it went off a bit earlier. Anyway, alarm company calls me while we're on the podcast, and Ash heard me take the call, and I had to go and check the burglar alarm, reset it. I have a quick walk through the building. It's a big warehouse, bear in mind, just to see where the burglar alarm sensor was going off. Because we've had it before where like a printer was still going on overnight, a 3D printer, and where it was moving, it moved the motion sensor. Really fucked me off at 4 o'clock in the morning, I tell you. Anyway, so this is proper weird. So I rock up and basically I'm pulling into like the front of the building and there's some guy in the car park on his mobile phone. I think it is a walkway like around the estate and everything like that, so people can walk around the trading estate, business park. Anyway, so I get out and he walks over. I'm like, "Are you alright?" Like this, and this foreign guy just starts talking at me in broken English. He goes, "Is this the alarm going off here?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "Oh, I've just filmed it for my sister, the alarm going off. She's on holiday." I'm like, okay. Anyway, so I'm like, "Yeah, I'm a key holder. I've just come to reset the alarm." Anyway, so I'm go up to the door. I have to have there's a key and a 4-digit code to get in to the door. Then you have to press like an alarm fob on an alarm sensor inside the door. And he's standing there, right by me.
God.
I'm like, "You're right." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "I'm here to come in." I'm like, "What?" I said, "What? Here to come in?" He goes,
God.
"My sister's on holiday. I've come here to clean." because we do have cleaners that go in on on a contract. Sometimes I see the alarm thing come on my phone on the app at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and they leave at 4. They just go whenever they do whatever. What's up with them? So I was talking. I was like, what? And he's standing there, and there's me, and I'm not a small guy, but there's this guy who's just appeared in the car park when I pulled into an empty business park at 9 o'clock at night, and it's pitch black, and there's no lights on in the car park anymore because everybody's fucked off home. And I'm like, what do you mean you clean it? He goes, oh, my sister's on holiday. I said, well, you know the key. Have you got a key? And he showed me this key thing. So, right, I said, I'm really confused as to what the fuck you're doing here. I said, I'm not going to lie, I don't know what you're doing here. This is weird. It's just literally appeared in the fucking darkness. Anyway, I goes, he goes, yeah, I've come to clean. I said, right, if you know how to clean, if you know what to do, let us in the building then. So a key, he puts the key in, unlocks it, good start, puts the 4-digit code in, and opens the door and goes in, and then he fobs the alarm. So I'm thinking, fair enough. I don't know. Anyway, so I'm like, you cool, you know what you're doing then? All the while, I'm still on edge, thinking, what the fuck is going on here? Anyway, so I walk through the building to go and check the burglar alarm, because I know exactly what sensor it's gone off. So I'm going to the back of the building, and he follows me all the way around there. Right? So I turn the lights on in the warehouse, I walk through the warehouse, and he's following right behind me. And, I mean, I've seen weird shit films, and they don't end well. So I walked in front of this guy, and I was half expecting him to fucking clatter me or something with some metal pipework that we got in our warehouse. And he follows me to where this sensor is, and I take a photo of the sensor so I can tell him at work tomorrow that's the facilities guy that needs to sort the alarm sensor out, because it's twice that same one's gone off today. This guy's there. He's in this like office with me. I'm like, are you alright, mate? He goes, yeah, I'm fine. I said, are you not cleaning? He goes, yeah. And at this point, I'm thinking, did I let someone in who isn't who they say? And I'm gonna. It's going to end in some kind of horrible bloodbath, but with my blood. So we walk back to where the toilet, like the downstairs toilets are. There's like cubicles and not like doors in this little corridor where it's all like toilet doors. One of them's a cleaning cupboard, and he stops at the cleaning cupboard. So I'm thinking, well, I said, do you know what you're doing? He goes, no, not really. I'm like, okay. I said, do you want me to turn the lights off? He goes, yeah, turn all the lights off. So I turned all the lights off in the warehouse. It's still got the security lights on the... I goes, are you okay then? He goes, in broken English, yeah. So I tapped him on the back and said, I've got to go now. It's like the most surreal 5 minutes of my life. And I don't know what to make of it. He was definitely a real person. I was on the phone at the time to Sarah. Because I said, I got called out to a security thing. I need you on the phone just in case anything happens, because this fucking guy's just appeared out of nowhere. Heard with the whole conversation.
God, I hope you don't go to work in the morning and the place has been emptied. You'd be like, Greg, let him in.
Thing is,
he let himself in.
The most expensive thing in there is probably that 3D printer that I just showed him. Nothing worth nicking in where I work. Nothing that you could easily get rid of on eBay or something. So yeah. So
an adventurous evening.
On that note, where were we? So we were at... Here we go. So I grabbed my flashlight, opened the door, and the second I did, it stopped. Dead silence. I checked every room upstairs and found nothing. No open windows, no signs of anyone breaking in. And here's where it gets really weird. when a couple came home, I casually mentioned the noises, half joking, hoping that they'd say, "Oh yeah, old pipes or something." The wife went completely pale and she said, "You heard them too?" Apparently, every house sitter that's ever mentioned people talking upstairs or someone walking in the hallway, they told me they'd replace check for wiring issues, animals, whatever, nothing came about. A husband even said he once stayed up all night trying to catch whoever it was. He never saw anything. I didn't believe in ghosts before this, and honestly, I still don't know what I believe now. I've been in a lot of old houses, and none of them have ever felt like that one. I still think about those whispers sometimes, not because of what they said, I couldn't quite make it out, but because it sounded like they were standing right outside my door. I'm not going to sleep very well tonight. So this creepy one, I know we split that in half, so if anybody got distracted by my security guard tale, zoom back a couple of minutes and you'll hear it.
A very up-to-date creepy tale from our Greg.
Yeah, that was almost live. I wish I'd have done it. I should have phoned you and we should have recorded it live, and that would have been the weirdest fucking thing. Yeah. So there we go.
Creepy. I think anything with voices and stuff like that, when he sort of knows somebody else in the building, or there isn't, there's always a weird feeling. Like when we went to the abandoned building with Sarah and Dan a few weeks ago, and we were downstairs and we heard clear as day someone above us in this building. So we ran upstairs to check that, because we thought there could be homeless people in here, there could be junkies in here, people, just kids messing around could be in here. So we went and checked and nobody about, but we heard clear as day, heard someone above us in that room. So it's mad when you sort of know that there was someone there but there isn't. So really, really weird. But yeah, so moving on to my next one for this episode. This is going back to more of a classic kind of tale, rather than the first two I told, which were a bit unusual in terms of paranormal stories. So just going to read this in first person view, I guess. So it's back in 2017. I was around 13 years old and used to frequently stay with my best friend, sometimes for weeks on end and during the summer. I have experienced plenty of unexplainable things in that house, but this one is always the first one that comes to mind. So first, I'll just explain the layout of my friend's home, who I'm going to call Sarah. So when you first walk in the door, you have a pretty large living room, and directly across from the front door is the doorway to the kitchen. At the end of the living room to your right, next to the kitchen doorway, is a long hallway with a bathroom on the left and 3 bedrooms on the right. A lot of family members lived there at the time, so Sarah's parents stayed in a garage turned bedroom at the very end of the kitchen, a few steps down. It was around 2 AM and I'd been staying with Sarah for about a week. We were watching a movie in the living room that we weren't really paying attention to, mostly just talking and getting on our phones. Their TV was directly in front of the couch, and the hallway to the bedrooms was on the left of the TV, making it where you could see straight down the hallway while I was watching a movie. At one point, I got up to make some noodles in the kitchen and came back a few minutes later and sit my bowl on the coffee table in front of the couch. I was blocking the TV whilst bent over to stir my noodles before I sat down. Suddenly, I feel paralysed. The only way I could describe how I felt was static. It felt like everything around me was buzzing. I'm still bent over in my bowl and stirring, but I felt so terrified. I couldn't move anything else. I then felt a sensation on my right hand side, as if someone brushed against me very slowly. I moved my eyes to my right, and I see a dark shadow pass me and slowly turn the corner into the hallway. I vividly remember how dark the shadow was because it blocked the entire TV. I stood there for a few more seconds until it was gone, and I felt like I could move again. I turned to look at Sarah, and the first thing she said was, "Did you see that too?" We looked down the hallway and saw that their linen closet door had opened, as well as a smaller closet above the linen closet that has a latch. We both sat in silence for the rest of the movie and rarely speak about it to this day. This story stands out to me more than my others because it is one of the few that I have where someone else experienced the same thing as me. The fact that Sarah saw the exact same thing makes me wonder.
Creepy.
So a bit more, you still got Shadow Man with this one. A bit more of a classic kind of haunting experience. Usually you see like with Shadow Man and stuff, you kind of see it in the corner of your eye or so like a fleeting glimpse of like the shadow person walking past, something like that. But they both saw this dark shadow sort of turn the corner and then go down the hallway. And there was sort of doors open in the hallway as well, making it a bit weird. And like I said, the fact that both saw it makes it like they actually saw something. It wasn't just like the eyes playing tricks or something on them.
Weird. Proper weird.
So that's part one.
It is done.
Done. Let us know what you think about these stories. Some weird ones, some creepy ones in there. Let us know what you think. Do you believe them? Obviously, these are, we just have to trust that people tell us their genuine experiences.
Mm-hmm.
That they've not just made it up for a bit of a laugh, but either way, still entertaining, I guess.
And Halloween week will be part 2. Might even try and throw in some of our own experiences, maybe.
Yes, and we will tell you all about the Halloween party.
Yes, we will. Yes, we will.
I'll have plenty of spirits.
Yeah.
That night. I've not had a drink for over 3 months, so I'm looking forward to cracking some open on Saturday night.
Sweet. Yes, I'll join you in a drink on Saturday, and we'll have some Halloween cheer.
Nice one.
Cool. Thanks, everybody. Speak soon, Ash.
See you later.